Hello and welcome back to the Infinite Potential Podcast, episode 3. I'm Isobel Tait, and today we are tackling a challenge that affects athletes at all levels: performance anxiety. We'll explore effective strategies to manage. Sorry, I obviously can't speak English today. Those pre-game jitters and perform at your best when the pressure's on. So, just a heads up. Like my peak endurance podcast, this is an edit-free podcast. So because life's not perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm human. I will make little mistakes when I'm talking. I do have notes. I always have notes. I like to be prepared, which also helps. Being prepared helps with performance anxiety. But I have notes. I do my best. But at the end of the day, I want you to know that I'm just a human being and I'm here chatting with you. I want you to know that you're learning something, but I'm also here for a friendly chat. And hopefully you get a lot out of it. Anyway, um, so so obviously, like I said, we're exploring effective strategies to manage those pre-game jitters and perform at your best when the pressure's on. Radio. So picture this. You're about to step onto the field for your game or the start line for your race. Your heart's racing, your palms are sweaty, and your mind's flooded with the what ifs and oh my God, and oh, okay, sound familiar? Well, what if I told you this anxiety could be transformed into your secret weapon? Stay tuned because by the end of this episode, you'll have the tools to do just that. Alrighty, so let's start by understanding what pre-performance or performance anxiety really is. Performance anxiety, often called stage fright, pre-game jitters, or nerves, is the nervousness or fear you feel before or during a high stakes situation. So, you could be a performer in the artistic sense, a musician or an actor or actress, that sort of thing. It's not just athletics. Um, and it's your body's natural response to stress, triggering the fight or flight mechanism, or freeze. I've heard they've used as well. So physically, you might experience a rapid heartbeat, sweating, shaking, or even nausea. I've known athletes who have been prone to vomiting. So, it can manifest in many ways. Mentally, you could face racing thoughts, self-doubt, or difficulty concentrating. None of them ideal for high stakes situations. It's crucial to understand that these reactions are normal. Even elite athletes experience them. The key is learning how to manage these feelings effectively. All right, so let's just briefly summarize what we've covered so far. Performance anxiety, it's a natural stress response that affects both our bodies and minds before or during high pressure situations, because often people only feel it before, and once the starting gun goes off or the game starts, it disappears. But it's characterized by physical symptoms like rapid heartbeat and mental symptoms like racing thoughts. Remember, experiencing it is normal, so it's okay. So let's explore how anxiety impacts your performance. And as you're tipping, probably not well. When anxiety takes hold, it can significantly affect your focus and decision-making abilities. You might find yourself second guessing every move, unable to react instinctively as you're trained to do. Physically, anxiety can lead to muscle tension, which can impair your coordination and agility. If you're racing, that muscle tension also burns more calories, which means you're losing energy. It might cause you to play it safe, holding back instead of giving it your all. So let me share just a quick example. I once worked with a talented basketball player who consistently underperformed in big games. During practice, she was a star, but come game time, anxiety would take over. Her shots would fall short, her passes would be off target, and her defensive reactions would be delayed. This is a classic case of high performance anxiety, can impact even the most skilled athletes. So just remember, anxiety can significantly hinder your performance by affecting your focus, decision-making, and physical capabilities. It can lead to second guessing, muscle tension, and playing it safe instead of performing at your peak. So now that we understand the problem, let's dive into our first strategy for managing performance anxiety: reframing. Reframing is all about changing your perspective. Instead of viewing your pre-performance jitters as anxiety, see them as excitement. This might sound simplistic, I know, but it is actually backed by research. A study by Harvard Business School found that participants who reframed their anxiety as excitement performed better in high stress response. And you know what? When you think about it, they really do feel the same. So, easy to do. Here's a practical exercise. The next time you feel those butterflies in your stomach before a big game or race, tell yourself out loud, I'm excited. Repeat this a few times. Okay. You're just reprogramming your subconscious mind. This simple act can start to shift your mindset from threat to challenge, from fear to anticipation. And when you rather be anticipating it positively than fearing it, I mean, you love your sport. This is why you do it, is for competition. And it's funny, we really look forward to the competition, and then it comes up closer and we start to get the nerves and we start to think, why did I do this? Why am I doing this? You do love it. You do want to do it. So let's reframe it. Okay. So reframing anxiety as excitement is a really powerful tool. By changing your perspective, you can transform that nervous energy into positive anticipation. So remember to practice saying, I'm excited out loud when you feel those pre-game or pre-race jitters. Our second strategy focuses on controlled breathing techniques. When we're anxious, our breathing often becomes shallow and rapid. Have you noticed that? I have. By consciously controlling our breath, we can calm our nervous system and regain focus. One effective technique that you may or may not have heard of is box breathing. Here's how it works. You inhale for a count of 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. Thus the box, because it's even on all sides. And you repeat this cycle several times. Another powerful technique is diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing. Place one hand on your chest and the other one on your belly. Breathe in slowly through your nose, feeling your belly expand while your chest remains relatively still. Another one you can try is lying on your back on the ground, but not so it's not the same as when you're sitting up doing it. But if you do that and you put a box of tissues on your belly and you breathe, and you want the box of tissues to raise and lower. Obviously, when you're standing up, it's a bit hard to do that one. That's why the hands. But if you're to begin with, maybe lie on your back, do the box of tissues, and then standing up, hand on your chest and your belly, and really get that belly hand to move. So let's try. Let's maybe you've got time now. Maybe if you're listening to this on the podcast, it might be a bit harder. You might be driving. That's okay. You can still do it. If you're running, it might be a bit trickier. But let's try a quick box breathing exercise together now. If you're not, just, listen to this and let it go. Ready? So inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, and then you would begin again. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay, so controlled breathing techniques like box breathing and diaphragmatic breathing can really help calm your nervous system and improve focus. Practice, once again, practice. You've got to practice these regularly, especially in the lead up to the high pressure situations. You don't want to be doing them first time in the high pressure situation. Always remember, never do anything new on race or game day. Our third strategy is talking properly, but is visualization and mental rehearsal. Basically, we talked about visualization in episode 2. If you didn't listen to that, go back, have a listen. That'll be really helpful, but we'll go through it quickly here now. This technique involves creating a vivid, detailed mental image of yourself performing successfully. Most, I would say, top athletes use this method to prepare for competitions. To practice visualization, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, close your eyes, and imagine yourself in the competitive environment, engaging all of your senses. What do you see, hear, smell? How does your body feel as you move? Visualize yourself performing at your best, handling challenges with ease, because there's always going to be challenges, and achieving your goals. Of course, this does not guarantee it's all going to work out perfectly on the day. Things happen, life happens, human bodies happen, but it increases the chances. The key is to make your visualization as realistic and detailed as possible. The more you practice, the more effective this technique becomes. And especially, before mobile phones, we were a lot better at daydreaming. God, I'm sounding really old, aren't I? We would, when I was younger, waiting for a bus or whatever, I didn't have a phone to look at. So I would daydream, get on the bus if I either read a book, because I was a bit of a bookworm. But if I didn't have a book, I would just be staring out the window, daydreaming. Nowadays, we just pull that phone out of our pocket. And I'm not criticizing because I do it myself. I don't do enough daydreaming anymore, unless I'm specifically visualizing, which I do a lot of. And once again, not just for my sport, I do it for my business. I've done it for relationships, how I want things to work out, if I'm going to have a difficult conversation with someone, those sorts of things. You can use it for everything. Anyway, just try not getting your phone out and just daydreaming. Honestly, it will help. So you've got to do it, regularly. You've got to practice. And the more you practice, the more effective this technique becomes. And like I said, begin with daydreaming. And actually, daydreaming can be really nice. So make sure, though, that you engage all the senses. I don't know what I was going to say, sections just then. Who knows? The final strategy is developing a pre-performance routine, which is what I get all of the athletes that I work with to do. A well-crafted routine can help manage anxiety by providing a sense of control and familiarity, which is a word I find really hard to say, in high-pressure situations. Your routine will generally include a physical warm-up, mental preparation techniques like the ones we've discussed, generally breathing, visualizations, and personal rituals that might help you feel centered and ready. For example, a basketball player might bounce the ball 3 times before each free throw, or a runner might visualize the entire race, condensed before stepping up to the start line. It can include a power pose, anything like that. And it can be before the game, or like I gave the example of the basketball player, it can be within the game. The key is consistency. Practice your routine during training so it becomes second nature for when you need it the most. And that's the thing with all of these sort of things. You've got to keep practicing them so it's not like clunky on race or game day. Remember, your routine should be personal to you. What works for someone else might not work for anyone, for you, or for anyone else. What works for you? You could tell your friends how awesome it works for you, but it might not work for them. And developing a consistent pre-performance routine can provide a sense of control and familiarity. That word again. So that, say, for instance, if you're running a race in an area, somewhere away from home, or you're playing, not on a home ground, you've got that familiarity there. I keep wanting to say it. So make sure that you include physical warm-up, mental preparation, and personal rituals. Practice your routine regularly to make it second nature. So wherever you are, it doesn't matter, it works for you. So as we wrap up, let's recap the main strategies we've discussed for managing performance anxiety. 1, reframe your anxiety as excitement. 2, use controlled breathing techniques. 3, practice visualization and mental rehearsal. And 4, develop consistent pre-performance routines. Remember, managing performance anxieties is a skill that can be developed with practice. Don't get discouraged if these techniques don't work perfectly straight away. It takes time. And don't do it once or twice and go, well, that didn't work. I'm not suddenly magically 100% better. Like any other aspect of your training, it takes time and consistency. I always say consistency is key to see results. The next time you feel those pre-game jitters, instead of letting them overwhelm you, use them as a sign that you're ready to perform. Embrace the challenge. That's the thing. See it as an awesome challenge. Use these strategies and watch as you transform that nervous energy into the peak performance that I know you are capable of. So if you find this episode helpful, please subscribe to the Infinite Potential podcast. I would love you to do that, and leave a review. Like I said earlier on, 5 stars even, who knows? And a little review. I love to read them. Well, to be honest, I haven't received any yet because I'm just recording these. So I would love to see some reviews, and I will read them out on the pod. And also, your feedback helps me reach more athletes who can benefit from these strategies. And it also lets me know if I'm on the right track. Please do let me know. for personalized techniques to help overcome performance anxiety and unlock your full potential, visit infinitepotentialcoaching.com.au to book a one-on-one coaching session. First one, first strategy call is free, so book it in. Remember, your potential is infinite. Let's unlock it together. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Isobel Tait signing off. Catch you on episode 4.